Welcome to the Nerd Party.
They can travel anywhere in time and space.
Right. This is gonna be fun.
Up we go into time and space.
Welcome to Time and Space, the Nerd Party's dedicated Doctor Who podcast. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Phillip Gilfus. Well, March has arrived and is now ending.
Yes, yes. And with it, it is bringing, hopefully, spring.
Right. I'm not setting the scene, I'm just saying we waited till the last minute to do this podcast because with every month, of course, we like to focus on the Doctor and of the month and the video that we watch explaining him. And so this is March. That will bring us to Jon Pertwee and the Third Doctor.
Hooray! And we've also been really busy, so trying to get anything in, like watching an entire season of Doctor Who has been an adventure.
Yes, of course, we'll be referencing the Clever Dick Films video on the Third Doctor. For those interested, we'll, of course, link, as always, in the show notes. But this is under the Doctor Who Review Part 4, the Jon Pertwee era on YouTube. So first, we'll talk about the video, and I really enjoyed this because this is the first time I'd seen every episode they referenced in the video.
Yeah, yes.
Well, of course, one of the things they talked about, obvious perhaps, but when we're talking the Third Doctor, of course, we're talking about the first colourized Doctor Who.
Yes, it's like walking into the Wizard of Oz.
And, of course, the video makes the point that even though it was in colour, not necessarily many televisions in Britain were, but nevertheless.
Yes, it's the idea that counts.
That's right.
It's the idea that counts.
So it's trying. And so I definitely did sort of change the era of the monochrome to the colour, and, you know, for whatever little it does sort of change. It does sort of set that separation between the classic Doctor eras, 1 and 2, and then 3 through 7.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you tend to, or at least I tend to view the first and second Doctor as being so long ago, which of course the third and fourth Doctor were as well at this point, but, color does make everything seem different.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, and of course, he talked about, the actual new Doctor himself, Jon Pertwee. What'd you think about learning a little bit more about his background?
I didn't realize that he had such a comedic background. Mm-hmm. I don't think I realized he had that much background to begin with.
Right.
So, that was very interesting.
Yeah. Because I certainly knew about his military background, just because you can always see his tattoo often.
Yes. It
was interesting, and especially for this role, that eventually transformed into sort of this action hero, for lack of a better word, role. Certainly not as comedic.
And the video really talks about the director or the showrunner telling Pertwee that he wanted Pertwee to be more Pertwee.
That's right. Let Pertwee be Pertwee.
Yeah, I can't say it again. Say it again. It's not as easy as you thought it was, is it?
Yeah, and it's an interesting man or doctor, how much was who and how much was how, because he is sort of this gentleman doctor, but he's not, like, uptight gentleman.
No, not at all.
He's just posh, I guess.
Just posh, and he does have a cape.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah, it's not easily explained away. but yeah, he definitely, having at least finished watching the first series, which we'll talk about here. But yeah, he certainly is approachable, I suppose, in some ways, as a doctor.
Yes, yeah, I like him. I really like Jon Pertwee.
Yeah.
There's something quite sweet about him.
And of course, the show talked about, or the video talked about, how, I guess due to budget concerns, they stranded the Doctor on Earth. And they talked about the series. I've already forgotten it. Do you remember the series? We heard about, they talked about, it was kind of the idea of how to base this new series on the old British series with the scientist.
Dr. something with a Q, wasn't it? Quasar or something like that?
Quartermaster, yes. But anyway, yes, it's a older British show, of course. Yeah, we're not going to look it up. But anyway, yes, it's something like Quasar or Quartermaster or something. It was a person's name because obviously that's what British shows do. Yeah, it was interesting that they basically wanted to sort of idea of the lone hero on Earth battling. And I guess I never thought about this as that the Doctor, or the third Doctor, but we're just going to say the Doctor. The Doctor's often fighting bureaucrats or,
Yes, they were talking about how having him stranded on Earth then limited the bad guy options.
It was either mad scientist or, I forget what the other option was,
bureaucrat,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
But it was also interesting. I guess they said the writer. I'm trying to remember. We only watched the video yesterday. I've already forgotten everything. But anyway, how this was actually a bit of a radical agenda, quote unquote, about with the Doctor. Sort of attacking the man and the bureaucracy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I say small R radical, of course. But sort of just standing up for different things. That from the. And I'm trying to remember because this Barry Letts. Barry Letts eventually took over. He's not who started with the Third Doctor, but he is who ended with the Third Doctor. But I can't remember the other writing team, of course. Though I think Barry started as a writer and then rose up to script supervisor, which is what they called the showrunners, or the de facto showrunners back then. But anyway, yeah. And so actually, I for the video, I think this was one. This would be sort of a backhanded compliment. This is a video that only focused on the Doctor, because I think with the first and second Doctor videos, they've talked different about specific aliens, or they talk about the overall background of the show. This Third Doctor video is basically about the Third Doctor.
Yes.
Straight on. We don't talk about necessarily any special villain, just talk about so.
Although, the Master.
Yes, that's true. And he did editorialize about that there were too many Master stories. Now, having not seen all of the Third Doctor yet, I have that opinion about Ansley Master, which we'll see 4th through 7th Doctor. I think there are way too many Master stories. So sounds like that began with the Third Doctor as well.
Yes, and I also they talk about the man who plays the Doctor,
Rodney Delgado,
and that they were planning on killing him off, never to be seen again. But the actor died before they could film it, and that's how the Master has lived on. Although I'm sure that even if they'd managed to kill him off,
it still would have brought him back.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was just looking at Big Finish, and there's a new 8th Doctor. I think the title is Ravenous 4. It's a series, Ravenous 1, 2. And they have him with 4 of the Masters. Ooh. So it's Eric Roberts again. Of course. His master.
Yeah.
And then Missy, and then I can't remember what the other ones were. But anyway, so I thought that was an interesting. So it goes to show you, of course, the Master stories obviously still continue.
Yep, absolutely. Regeneration, yo.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Having actually watched the first series, and we don't necessarily have to talk about every serial, but just to go through the Third Doctor's first series, I forget what the actual number is of the series. But anyway, we have the serials are Spearhead from Space, Doctor Who and the Silurians, The Ambassadors of Death, and Inferno. So, any particular way you want to tackle that, watching your first series of a classic era in order with a new Doctor? Yeah,
well, I think we have to go in order, at least briefly.
So, Spearhead, this is actually our second time, us watching him for my third or fourth, but this time, introduces, of course, the Third Doctor and Unit, and the Unit team, and Liz, his new assist. I don't know. For some reason, it feels weird just calling her companion. I don't know why. For some reason, in my mind, since she's not traveling in time and space, it's more assistant.
Yeah.
Than
well,
companion.
And that's kind of. I mean, she's hired to work with Unit,
right?
So it's a little bit more. Forced isn't necessarily the right word, but a little more static in her job. She's not somebody who volunteered to go traveling with the Doctor.
Right. She's just Liz Shaw, doctor, scientist, attached to Unit or reassigned to Unit or whatever, and we go from there.
Yeah. So, yeah, because she didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought Spearhead was very interesting. It's your usual, well, in some ways, it's your usual, new Doctor, doesn't know everything, not awake for half the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, he gets you see him get his costume, he falls in love with a car, and steals it, and then has to put it back at the end, but then he demands his own car. He at the end of the episode, he has a rider. basically saying,
Yep.
I'll come
He
on board.
refused to come out of his trailer.
Yes, unless he got
until he got his
car.
Bessie. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a good introduction. I still think the wheelchair chase is funny, hilarious.
Yep.
But I guess that was maybe his comedic chops coming out. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we see the comedic chops most in this.
Mm-hmm. And from what I remember, having watched it 2 times in say a year, it's not a bad story, not necessarily a great one. It's typical Doctor Who. If you're looking for just a regular old,
I would agree with that.
Then we get, of course, the introduction of your favorites.
Yes.
The Silurians.
The Silurians.
Looking a little bit different, obviously, than our modern era, but we still get we get the the random, Tyrannosaurus Rex or whatever it was that just was hiding in the cave.
Yes.
And
that's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the good Silurians and the bad Silurians.
And I mean, an interesting, it kind of reminds me maybe of even like the Torchwood Doctor relationship. Oh lordy, I should know her name as much as she carries her ID, but the Prime Minister.
Oh yes. Oh gosh.
I know, right?
Oh gosh, I can see.
I know, right? Because she always carries the ID.
Yep.
But anyway, the Prime Minister and the 10th Doctor. But anyway, the point is that the Brigadier, spoilers, right? Blows up the Silurians at the end of this, which is not what the Doctor wanted.
No.
And so you sort of see. Often, and the Brigadier is more than just, wants to kill everything. I mean, that's not totally his character, but that is what he does. And so that sort of conflict between and this is exaggerated, of course, but the peaceful Doctor and the warlike General.
Warmongering.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it was an interesting introduction. And of course, most of these, I'm trying to think spirited off the top of my head. I want to say it's 4, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, most of these serials are 7 parts. What did you think of how...
That got so long.
Mm-hmm. All of them?
Yeah. And that's not, when we're trying to watch them in a row kind of thing.
Right.
It felt long. These are not necessarily bingeable.
Right.
I think is the problem with it. I think on a weekly basis, that arc would not have been a bad thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, trying to binge them, I'm like, dear God, is it not over yet? We've been sitting here for hours.
It's been 2 minutes.
Never mind.
And then it has the Ambassadors of Death. This is interesting. It's still a little weird to me. The storyline was a little weird of them having the astronauts up there, chilling in the lounge.
Yeah,
and then you have because the ambassadors, the alien ambassadors, we never actually. Well, we see them being controlled, but to me the actual plot, like if you told me what is actually the villain's plot, I'm not sure I quite get it. I mean. They intercepted the messages and they grabbed the ambassadors instead of letting them, go be the delegation, and then took them over somehow and are using them to blow up people because
the
reasons.
End game is never 100% clear. Yeah, mm-hmm. Absolutely. What are you going to do when you have control over these guys? Mm-hmm. Although there was the guy who was like, we just need to attack. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to use these ambassadors to make everybody scared of the aliens.
Oh, that's so
you're
that
then right. We blow up their planets. Yeah, more warmongering.
That's right. He wanted to increase that military budget or something. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you understand? He was pleading to the Doctor.
Yep, and he wanted to. I have to do this. This is the moral thing to do, or something like that. Yeah.
That's true. We got to see the Doctor go into space.
Yes.
He's been stranded for a while, so he actually did go to space and got to do a little G-force funning around.
Yep, also true. And then rocked up, and the astronauts were like, hey, what up, yo?
I know, we're just watching the match.
Yeah.
And was this the one where Liz was wearing the random go-go boots? And I'm like, well, that...
Yes.
And she was got attacked in the dock or whatever. And,
Yep, and wearing the go-go boots.
Oh, that just didn't... I mean, that's... She's presented as a very scientist character. I mean, I expect she can dress how she wants in her off hours, but it just seemed weird. But I guess that's of the period.
Yep.
Then Inferno, which going in, when we were at Galley name drop, #Galley1, had two different people tell us, because we had not seen it yet, Inferno is this great. And I think they're right. I mean, the greatest one ever, maybe. But I mean, I think the Mirror Universe was an interesting twist.
You were always going to be a fan of the Mirror Universe.
Well, tell me about Discovery. But.
Yeah, well, but, I mean, that's something that Star Trek has done.
I've just never seen Doctor Who do it, I guess.
No, absolutely, but that's why this was always going to be your thing, because it's at least a trope you're familiar with.
Though it is interesting to play with that idea. I like in Evil Universe, Britain's the Republic, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
I see how it is.
I also like in Evil Universe that the Brigadier is Nick Fury.
The brigade leader.
Well, and the eye patch and the big scar. And,
that's right.
Yeah, lack of mustache.
I know. How do you make the mustache guy evil? You take away the mustache.
Yeah, and Liz Shaw's mirror
has a wig, apparently.
Yes, is a brunette. Yep.
But yeah, I thought that was. I mean, because I was, the 7-part thing. Still, it's like. But I think when you pad it with a Mirror Universe story, it does make it go a little faster. Yeah,
and there's, you also get, although we don't necessarily get the Doctor's angst over it, the Mirror Universe is destroyed.
Yeah. Totally
annihilated. Yeah. I think it might have been nice to get a little bit more angst. He's just like, nope, can't take you with me, saws. Off we go.
Yeah, so that was definitely, out of the 4, which one was your favorite?
Either the Ambassadors of Death or Inferno, I think. I warmed up.
It's an Inferno joke.
Yeah, no, I got it. But yeah, I enjoyed the Mirror Universe. And then we get another little comedic turn when the Doctor is trying to make the TARDIS work and ends up in the tip.
I still don't know how I got that console out of the TARDIS.
No.
That remains unclear to me.
Yes. Don't see a lot of the TARDIS in this one?
No, we don't. Yeah, that was another thing the video teased us. We're not going to see it until a little middle of the second season here. Yeah. Which has been, and of course there's only 4 stories, so you can't really complain too much. We've seen the TARDIS, and he tried to escape in the first episode with Spearhead. So we've seen it, but it just sort of sits there in the corner of the lab, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then miraculously the console's out for a little while.
Well, let's get a little bit into the characters of the Third Doctor, the unit characters. So the unit team, of course, with a Brigadier and Sergeant Benton, we've seen the most of. Captain Yates, we saw a little bit in some other episodes we've seen in the future, both the actual future of our future watching it, but also the other episodes we've seen.
Harriet Jones.
There you go. Yes, you're right. Yeah. That's it. Prime Minister Harriet Jones. Yeah.
I've been percolating that in the back of my mind the whole time we've been talking. Well, Jones is such a hard name,
right?
Right? So yes. Who's going to remember that?
No.
And I was like, well, it's not Smith. I know it's not Smith.
No, that's the Doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so what do you think of the unit characters?
I like Benton. He's cute.
Yeah. Evil Benton?
Yeah, whatever.
He just sort of have that 70s man look of the hair and the
yeah, he was definitely in cigarette ads.
When I'm not fighting aliens, I like to enjoy a nice cool
something yeah.
It's filtered.
And of course the Brigadier's always a delight.
Yeah, it's interesting when I was reading that the actors enjoyed Inferno because they enjoyed playing the Mirror Universe counterparts.
Oh, I'm sure. Except for Liz.
Well, she was pregnant at the time.
But also didn't want to pretend to shoot somebody, which I just found a little strange.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been pregnant and in a Doctor Who story. So
yeah, that all of those things are true.
Yeah.
But yeah, still a little strange. But nonetheless.
And so let's talk about Liz Shaw, played by Caroline John. What'd you think of Liz? Because this is all we're seeing of her is what you've seen.
Yeah, she disappears. Yep. Contract not renewed. Worked out fine because she was pregnant anyway, and yeah, she's all right. Mm-hmm. She's all right. She's got her go-go boots. She is in my list. I think that she's my least favorite 3 companion.
Okay. There's not a lot to choose from, so
No, I know.
Unless you include the unit team.
And I still put her at the bottom.
Yeah. Sure. That's fair.
Yeah, she seems just a little bit stiff. Like, there's never any real warm-up. I don't know anything about her. I don't get to know her. I don't...
And this may be an unfair comparison, and I'd have to watch it all, so I don't mean to be whatever, but she reminds me sort of the first Romana in some ways. The sort of very intelligent, I don't want to say uptight, but because I don't think Liz is uptight necessarily. But you know what I'm trying to say. As opposed to the second Romana, who's a little softer and funnier. But again, maybe that's unfair. I think I have to watch the Fourth Doctor again, because I know that's sort of the tropey stereotype between the Romanas, but it'd be interesting to watch that again and see if that's really true, and that's just what we've thought of. Yeah. But anyway, I think there's nothing wrong with Liz, because she's sort of an atypical companion. As the video had said, we were sort of coming off the Kitty companions, your Jamies, all those folks. But and so she was more of a scientist, an adult.
All of which are great. I can appreciate all of those things.
I just don't think they gave her much to do, is what it comes down to.
And maybe that's, and the video talked a little bit about the companion's job is so often to be the audience.
Right.
And ask the questions that the audience have. But because Liz Shaw is so smart and competent and capable on her own, it didn't make sense always for her to be asking those questions. And so either we're watching a scene that doesn't necessarily compute in our minds because Liz Shaw is asking questions that she doesn't necessarily need the answers to, or nobody's asking those questions. Mm-hmm. And so it just doesn't gel as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, because even in her competency, she's not necessarily used as that. She's not like co-doctoring necessarily.
Yeah. Or stepping in while the doctor's in the mirror universe. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have a whole lot to do, really.
Right. She's still often relegated to stupid tasks by the Brigadier.
And then they give her silly things like chasing around the docks in go-go boots, which also is completely...
Yeah, I was trying to... What was it, Ambassadors? I can't remember. The Brigadier's like, oh, you go do this. And I'm like, that's nothing to do with her wheelhouse. It's like, go interview these subjects or something. I'm like, she's not a detective, but...
Later. So, yeah, it's like they couldn't necessarily figure out what to do with her.
Mm-hmm. And so they got rid of her.
Which is what you do.
So they bring in Jo Grant, played by Katie Manning, who I look forward to learning more about, because I've only seen bits and pieces. So what do you think, or what are you going to look forward to?
Yeah, again, I'm going to look forward particularly because we've seen her in the New Who.
Right, no.
And seen her
in real life.
At #Galley1 name drop.
That's right.
And she's quite delightful. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with her. Again, I've seen a very little bit, but not enough to really make a judgment yet.
And I guess arguably, I don't have the Third Doctor stories in front of me, she's sort of, at least if you do the math, the main companion for the Third Doctor. Because Liz gets a year, or a season, whatever you want to call it. And I didn't realize this until watching the video. Sarah Jane's the last year of the Third Doctor. And so basically Jo has sort of the meat of that sandwich of companions.
Yes, yeah. And she's also, she's a little bit of an adventurous, isn't she? I mean, ultimately she leaves to go off to the wilds of Africa or something.
Amazon, South America, the whole world.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that. What he does with an adventurous companion who can't go anywhere.
Right. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting because whenever we get to the Tears and the Third Doctor gets to use the TARDIS again, I'm trying to think, not counting the last serial, which is, cheap, Planet Spiders, I can't think I've ever seen a Third Doctor story where he's traveling in time and space. So, well, other than the Sarah Jane one, of course, that's a history.
Yes.
So, other than the two I've seen.
And the Ambassadors of Death when he goes into space.
Right. Well, not with the TARDIS, I guess is what I've meant.
Right. So that was not clear.
You
probably should have made that
Jo going through time and space.
Right. Oh, okay. See that?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. And then so Sarah Jane, of course, to see her. We saw her introduction, but to see it again and to see that first year with the Doctor.
Yeah. and I love Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
She
Cool.
makes me happy.
So any final thoughts or any musings about the Third Doctor as we continue to go into that era in the background as we continue watching him in order?
Yeah, like I said, I think he's one of my favorite classic Doctors. I don't know why I've got such a soft spot for Jon Pertwee. I just really, really do.
Yeah, and it's of course it always depends when you were born or something, but the video seemed to say that that's sort of as much as we think the Fourth Doctor, that for people growing up, it was the Third Doctor, and Jon Pertwee and what that make, and so years later or decades later, Fourth Doctor comes to mind, the scarf, the guy with the scarf, but Third Doctor, I guess, was for a lot of people too.
Yeah. Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah, so we look forward to his action heroing, James Bonding, cape adventures to come.
Yes.
Well, speaking of the Third Doctor and his companions,
Yeah.
we are going to take a trip into the TARDIS library.
When you close your eyes,
I go to the library.
go to the library now.
So, we're going into the TARDIS library, perhaps our most regretful trip to
And
date.
also possibly most random one.
This was quite a discovery, because I was doing research about the Third Doctor, and obviously I was very curious about
Liz Shaw's
Liz Shaw, because
Caroline Johns.
she was just the year.
Her abrupt departure.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out the reason. I never really found a reason other than they just didn't renew her contract. But I don't know. I figured there had to be something else.
Yeah, because they didn't give Liz Shaw any sort of exit.
Yeah. And so I was curious, because as we've talked before, people come back to the franchise. And I did find she does do some Big Finish. I mean, she's passed away now, of course, Caroline John. But she did some Big Finish adventures as Liz Shaw. But it turns out, darling, this whole time we've been lying. Torchwood is not the first spinoff.
It is not.
Of Doctor Who.
It is not.
Ladies and gentlemen, we were... delighted is not the right word. We were aghast.
Aghast is a better word.
Gobsmacked to discover that the first spinoff of Doctor Who is P.R.O.B.E.
P.R.O.B.E.
Full stop. Yes, it is a direct-to-home video.
As it should be.
And it's... I don't have it in front of me. I want to say it's 5... I don't know what to call them. Features? Episodes?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Apparently there's a bizarre fifth one that happened decades later. So, but anyway, so we watched, and I can't believe I discovered it. B, I can't believe I then found it on the internet. I'll drop the link.
But do not click on it. Don't do it. Do not do it.
So the first episode is called The Zero Imperative, and this was released, like I said, on home videos. This is BBV. It was released in January of 1994. Darling, please tell us the synopsis.
I am on it. Former unit luminary Liz Shaw and her assistant Lou Bayliss are investigating a series of bizarre murders, all committed near a soon-to-be-closed psychiatric hospital. When the hospital is unexpectedly reprieved by rich industrialist Peter Russell, events seem to move out of Liz's control. Are the incumbent director of the clinic, Dr. Dove, and his predecessor, Dr. O'Kane, harboring the killer? What is the centuries-old horror hidden in the grounds? And what exactly is the secret of Room Zero?
Right. So... I don't know where to begin. First, this was written by...
Mark Gatiss.
Starring...
Mark Gatiss.
Yes.
And let me be abundantly clear. I love me some Mark Gatiss. Love him. Love him as a writer. Love him as an actor. In both of those jobs for P.R.O.B.E., he was just this side of abysmal.
Yes. I forget where I was reading this. I don't know if it was TARDIS.wiki or something. And he was being interviewed, and he's like, "Oh, you'll never find it." He's like, I'm like, "Well, I found it, Mark." And he said, and I feel like I'm paraphrasing, but basically don't watch it. But I learned a lot of things doing that.
Yes, and I can... Yeah.
This is his student film,
Oh, yeah. And that is... Oh, it felt like that so much. It felt like a student film.
I was interested in seeing, what they did with Liz. The answer is not much, apparently. No, but
that is the answer, not that much.
But it's interesting because they don't explain anything in the actual episode about, Liz. Very, 2 sentences, but it's not like, Liz Shaw, I'm now in P.R.O.B.E, which is actually, it's preternatural research, which is actually does not spell probe. I just want to point that out.
B.
I don't know where the O.B. comes in. Preternatural research. But anyway. But it's just sort of like we just go into it, and we're in it, and we're you just hold on for dear life.
Yeah. And there was apparently something about, and I don't know why, considering all of the people in this production, but they were not allowed, for licensing reasons, to mention Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. Well, and literally, the character. They can talk about other things.
Yes, and Liz Shaw actually talks about the fact that she used to be in another acronym-based group.
There's literally a picture of the Brigadier.
She used to be in some sort of, I don't know, what do you call it, unit or something.
Mark, we got we got a call from legal. No, you don't understand. It's lowercase,
no dots. Yeah, and
I feel like
then
we can
she
hear
literally taps the side of her nose, and that's all we get.
Yep,
that's all we get.
Well, darling, we get a little more references to Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
just a few references. You see, there are several doctors in this episode, and when I say there are several doctors in this episode, I mean all of them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tom Baker is the only doctor not in this episode.
Well, 1 and 2.
Yes, well.
It's literally 3,
the only
4,
living doctors.
It is 3, 4, 5, and...
Not 4.
3, 5... No. 3, 5, 6, and...
7.
Okay.
Yes. Jon Pertwee plays the old guy.
Oh, yes.
Sylvester McCoy is the bad guy. Spoilers.
The current doctor of the psychiatric
Colin
hospital.
Baker is the Sir whoever who has rescued the hospital.
Yep.
And Peter Davison has a 5-second cameo at the end.
Yep. Also, Liz Shaw's assistant.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah, you're right. Oh, Lordy, what's her real name? Louise Jameson.
Yep.
Who plays Leela, Fourth Doctor, is in there as well.
Yep. And, of course, Mark Gatiss.
And Mark Gatiss.
And every now and then, the characters will look at each other and say, Doctor, and it's almost this wink, nudge, nudge moment. It's so bad. It is so very bad. I spent the entire watching of this wondering where the Mystery Science Theater 3000 guys were. Because they needed to be in on this. I
agree. It was, it's not
so
good.
Bad.
It is bad. And there's there's other episodes which I know I will watch. I just don't know how I will watch them. But
alone, quite possibly.
So P.R.O.B.E. It's a thing. It's out there.
It has happened.
Yep.
And yes, I still love Mark Gatiss as a writer and as an actor.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't read the synopsis because God forbid I get spoiled about any of these episodes. But in the overview, it's implied that Liz and Louise Jameson's characters might have a relationship, making her the first LGBT Doctor Who character.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll have to see how much it's explicit on the screen or not. So yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. Don't go watch it. Please don't do that. Or if you do not tell anybody that we're the ones who gave you
Recommend
the idea.
It. That's right.
No.
Mum's the word.
Mum's the word. Tap side of nose.
That's right. All right. Well, that's a lot of the Third Doctor for this week. Speaking of companions, next week we are going to be having some special guests to talk about the companions of color in New Who.
Which is so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to talk about some more recent companions. Hopefully they will not star in bad direct-to-video productions.
Who would be the writer-director?
I don't know, because Mark Gatiss is still Mark Gatiss, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, but I guess what I'm asking is who is the very, very green, random person who's ultimately going to end up being brilliant, but for this is bad, writing the story about.
We'll have to do our P.R.O.B.E. fan fiction where we recast everyone with New Who people.
Oh, God. I don't think, no. And then rewrite the whole thing.
That's right. I could see the 5-second Chris Eccleston cameo at the end.
Yes. I'm just looking for the James Corden carpool karaoke segment.
Oh, well. Well, until next week, enjoy watching, listening, and reading about the Doctor's adventures throughout time and space.
This is BBC Television.